Hello, welcome to Season 5 Houseplay D&D, the explainer podcast where one experienced dungeon master speaks very fast and one failed scriptwriter discuss D&D topics. I'm the scriptwriter, dungeon master.
Can you tell that I talk very quickly?
Actually, I've just realised that's horrible if you're listening by the podcast, but not watching it. So, my name is Kinsey, and my illustrious guest this week is Sam Pay. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
This season we are doing things slightly different. Our guests have selected an enemy from a list that I've supplied, and they are going to educate us as to why we should use these creatures. And this being episode 20 for definite, I don't know why I'm still having to remind people what this season we are doing. And of course, I will interrogate. Sam, what is this week's special episode?
We're talking about a classic. A beautiful round boy, the Beholder.
Let's get to it. Okay, so today's episode is on Beholders, probably one of the most iconic monsters in D&D. Every player at some point will ask, is it fleshlight worthy, and is it sentient enough to care?
Oh no! It is sentient enough to care. Don't do that! I know they're not nice, don't do that to them.
I'm sorry, this, it's a frat house humour.
Oh,
I know,
no,
yeah, not nice.
Don't fuck a Beholder.
It's not worth it.
That. It's not worth it for everyone involved.
Yeah, it's true. Well, I feel really sad now. I feel worse that you actually wrote that, and I had to say it, which
I
is
put
really
that in
mean.
I set you up to
Yeah, and then we're like, that's disgusting.
How could you say that, Kinsey?
No, let's bring it back. Sam, I'm chucking pennies over my neighbour's garden in hopes they'll think a money tree is growing. If it does, is it legally mine, or do I just have to sit in disappointment? What am I doing?
It depends on who has the leasehold of the land. If you own that land and you're planting a money tree there, I think it is yours. But if they have paid off the mortgage, if they own the land, that's their money tree.
I hate when there's logic, a logical answer.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I've got the
Maybe
fleshlight
put the
beholder.
pennies in your. Maybe put the pennies in your own garden.
Yeah, I just don't like mess. Okay, why did you pick Beholders?
I mean, we touched on it right at the start. They are an absolute classic. They are on the covers for so many things. There's so much goofy art out there for them. And they're horrible and evil, and they were sent by hell to kill us all. I love them. I love a Beholder. They're great. They're just, like we've talked about, like, dragons are iconic in D&D. I've made the argument for why I think Mind Flayers are actually more iconic for D&D. Beholder, unquestionably, is the Dungeons and Dragons monster.
Dragons are in the name, but I think Beholder is the Pikachu of D&D.
I completely agree, yes.
It's everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And there are so many renditions.
Like, there's a wonderful local board game and D&D shop that I think we both frequent, and there is literally a Beholder hanging up from the ceiling over the cafe that's in there. It's great.
And it's not for sale, because I've asked many times, and they definitely know I'm autistic, because I keep 3 years and I am persistent.
They'll cave eventually. One of these days they'll cave. The Beholder.
Yeah, when a money tree grows in their shop and they have to abandon it.
We've got to give them the Beholder now. We've got to move.
There we go. Okay, so that makes sense. Why you picked Beholder? It's iconic. Everyone loves a Beholder. Mm-hmm. What kind of stats does a Beholder have?
Evil, horrible, the worst.
Are Beholders always evil?
Well, it says in the stat block lawful evil.
Okay.
So, but also, I don't necessarily prescribe to the idea that you can actually see this in 2024 where they're like typically this or typically that, but it doesn't have to be.
It's a guideline.
Yeah, a lot of the lore that surrounds Beholders also does seem to suggest that they would exist exclusively evil, exclusively in a space of being horrible, evil creatures, just because of how and the way they are, that they're like the fucking nightmares of the far realms made manifest into flesh, and they dream horrors into existence.
Yes.
I don't know many great guys who do that.
Well,
but
they just haven't been on the podcast yet.
You know what? Yeah, let's get a Beholder on and really
optimism.
Maybe we're being a bit Beholderist. I think they're typically evil, but then you do have guys like Xanathar and the Zentarim.
That's what I was thinking.
Who's like, but he also is like the Sopranos of D&D. Like, he's an evil mafia horrible dude.
He's just a smarter, more sentient
Yeah.
More aware beholder.
I think he's a beholder who has recognized that maybe I don't need to eat every human I see.
Yeah, I could take advantage of them.
Some humans can help me do tax fraud, and that's helpful for me. So.
Do you mean as in what he does in the book, or the fact he's selling books?
Yes.
Because he's selling books. He's selling books. The guy's out here
books.
making money, making
He's
dollar.
a publisher. He's a writer. He's got a guide to everything. I hear.
Yeah,
but
literally.
I mean, hey man, I wouldn't know.
There we go. So what kind of stats does a beholder have?
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
Big nasty ones. Actually, strength is the lowest one that we're dealing with in terms of like skills that the dude's got, which does make sense.
I think that makes complete sense.
He doesn't have arms. What's he got to be strong about? Everything else appears to be very mental. So like intelligence, wisdom, charisma, all relatively high. Then the saving throws associated with that, again, like they're kind of okay. But then hit points and AC. Like we were talking about other things with like hard exoskeletons and stuff that like have quite high natural armor AC.
My ex-husband.
Yeah, it's always hard to kind of like chip in there. But we've got an 18 AC, which for a caster is very high.
Very high, yeah.
And also it's natural armor, which I don't know where they get it from because they're squishy blobs, but whatever. But then 180 hit points, CR 13. These guys are
big.
They're tough. They're tough to fight. It's a very strong caster. Yeah, they're definitely going to be like I honestly have even seen some parties be like, oh, like you have your like encounter calculators online where you can kind of like figure out how like hard a party, how high level a party can be to fight a beholder. And I actually think a lot of the times those aren't accurate for beholders because of how fucking lethal they are.
I think most of the time, I mean the CR thing is just, it's so ambiguous.
Work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It's because quite likely those calculators, quite often, are like, how many people will it take to just melee this to death?
Yeah.
And it's not thinking about the fact that if you're running it right, that thing isn't going to be near the things that can just hit it.
No.
Do you know what I mean? The hit points aren't massive for a group that know what they're doing, but that thing isn't going to be near something that can just do 60 melee damage a turn.
It's all the other stuff that this thing can do makes it hard to just hit.
Yes, and so you really are relying on a DM, right, to just be able to do that, which we'll get to.
We will get
to. So what kind of abilities does it have that makes it an absolute bitch to fight?
It does have a bite attack.
Yeah.
I sincerely do not know why you would ever do its bite attack, because it doesn't even have like because usually when you see this in stat blocks, it's like something D something plus this. But because it's got no strength, it's straight up 46 damage from its bite. So that could be a lot. It could also be 4 damage.
Yes, that's very true.
Isn't great. So what you are going to be using, and there's legendary actions feed into this and all this kind of stuff, is its eye rays, which I fucking love. Anytime you get to do something randomly, where you roll a dice and like you can for sure play a beholder where you're only using the like rays that you want to use. I think it's so much more fun to roll the dice and see what comes up and kind of in the spur of the moment as the DM improvise and figure out where you want to throw that ray.
Yeah,
and I think that part of that randomness is what makes it deadly, because like you as a DM can sit there and go like, oh, I'm not going to throw that many like instant killing zapification rays. It's disintegration ray. But if you roll a 9 on that and the disintegration ray happens, oh no, that guy's dead now.
Luck of the dice.
That's why it's so deadly. I love it.
Also, very good. I mean, yeah, you might not want to do that in terms of like that's not what your plan was, because you're never against the party. But it makes for great combat when everyone, including you, are also scared.
Yeah, it's honestly one of the few moments in D&D, if you're playing a beholder, rules as written in the text of the book, just throwing it out there, where it really does feel like the party are beating like they're going over a hurdle. Like it feels like almost like a rite of passage to beat a beholder, where it's like, oh no, this thing means fucking business.
Yeah,
this thing wants to kill us. It almost feels like the stat block is sentient and wants to hurt you and everyone you love.
Yes, 100%.
I love that. I love that, like, at the end, if you actually beat it, it is kind of a celebration for everyone involved. And the DM can even be like, actually, good job, guys. I was in your corner with you against this fucker.
Yeah.
It worked.
It's doing its own thing. It's players and DM versus Wizards of the Coast. At this point, you're 100% praying. Okay, so any other abilities that we should talk over for the next question?
I mean, it does have legendary actions.
Does it need them?
No, because
Maybe for high levels?
but also its legendary action is just shoot another eye ray.
Yeah, okay.
So it's just doing more of what it already does, which I kind of like the simplicity of that. Some legendary actions are like, I will suplex you into the sun, and it's like, you know what? I might just want to just shoot more eye rays.
Yeah, and I guess also if you have got like a spellcaster that can match this thing, and it does counter spell its first, to be like, brilliant. Okay, well here's my legendary action, and you go, oh shit, okay,
We weren't ready for that.
Yeah, exactly. It can do stuff, which is great, especially if you've got people who are playing it right. And by right, I mean there'll be people who are like offensive and defensive at the same time, which you want in a party. That you want versatility.
Everyone got a roll.
It's great that it can use a legendary action to try and kind of work everyone in the room. You don't want it to be like, well, it's just it versus that one player for the whole combat.
Also, quite frankly, you don't want that in something like this anyway, because if you are playing it at the difficulty level where it's going to be the hardest and where it's going to feel like an achievement for defeating a beholder, if a beholder solos one player, they're done. They're already done. That's like, you're not going to survive being frightened, paralyzed, and disintegrated. I'm sorry, that might as well just be, you, as the DM, you might as well just take the character sheet off their table and go,
when they
so
turn
sorry.
up.
Yeah.
If you're the player who thinks you can just Leroy Jenkins, the thing from the beginning, when you turn up, the DM is just putting your character sheet
in the shredder.
In a coffin. From the beginning, find that personality and remove them from your table for this encounter.
It's not gonna work. Fucking freeze that player just for a
100%.
session, and then they can come back.
Yeah. Okay. So how does a DM use a beholder in their game? We've kind of just touched upon it in a good way of using it. I do think the legendary action is really beneficial to get every player engrossed.
Yes.
At least that. It is very simple, and it already does so much with its one action.
Zap, zap, zap.
So the legendary action can be overkill, but that is a good way of like a rogue, for example, not hiding in a bush and trying to get a surprise attack, and it's just a bit boring.
Oh no, we got you. Bam.
Yeah. It's just a great way of like really incorporating everyone in, I think.
Yes, and then of course we briefly do need to touch on the anti-magic cone, which I fucking love.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
central, because also it's a fun way of, it's another one of those things that feels like it's the encounter balancing itself. Like, I would argue, I'm a big proponent of putting environmental effects and layers and all this kind of stuff in fights. I would argue that because of the anti-magic cone and the random eye rays, there's enough on there to make a beholder fight interesting no matter what you do.
Okay, and can you talk briefly for like new listeners what the anti-magic cone is?
Yes, it's got a big eye in the middle of its head, and it shoots out a cone. I believe what kind of foot? 120-foot cone? No, that's the eye ray.
Is it 15 foot
150
wide?
foot. I thought it was going to be
In terms of
like it's
distance.
splaying out.
Yeah,
it's its full surface area. Which just anything. I believe it casts the anti-magic zone spell as you go through it, which is basically like, hey, do you like spellcasting? I'm so sorry. No, you don't anymore. And also, I believe it makes magic items inert. So that's why it's so fucking vicious even at high levels.
Yeah.
Because you'll find power creep really ramps up.
Yes.
Because not only are you getting your like ability scores, more spells, more hit points, you'll also be picking up shit along the way that's like, I've got a vestige of divergence, that's a holy great avenger, and I'll bring it crashing down. It's like, great, cool, it doesn't work anymore though. Fuck you.
Someone wearing like a belt of like giant strength, for example.
Hope you enjoy having your own strength score in this fight.
Literally. Just something as simple as that is just out of the window.
But also because it's a cone, it sweeps like around the arena, but it's also something that the beholder has to keep an eye on. Because if someone is magically enchanted to be like paralyzed or petrified, if the cone sweeps back over them, it's going to remove that effect.
Oh, okay, I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's very good.
Its cone works on its own.
There is a lot of plays at hand, and also then from that cone, it really does make players be like, well, why don't we work our way around this thing? Not for advantage, but to actually tactically take advantage. If you're arguably got to think of the BBG then as kind of like areas of attack. You know, like you know what I mean? Like it's like a video game boss where you've got to really learn the patterns, but those patterns are constantly you've got to really learn the patterns, but those patterns are constantly changing because there is someone actually playing that creature. We will get to this, and we actually said this on a very early episode where we did together in this series where I said the Beholder was my least favourite enemy that week because whenever I face one, it's not played, it's very easy to take down, and it shouldn't be.
I would argue, and you touched on it then masterfully, which is and this is why I don't necessarily feel like lures are necessary for Beholders. They're a nice addition. I feel like you don't need them because a Beholder is its own environment.
Yeah, which is ever changing if done right.
Yes.
That's part of the battle. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So can you give an example of when you used or encountered one?
Yeah, so Beholders are an example of a monster actually that I personally haven't had a lot of experience DMing.
Okay.
I've had the chance to use them once or twice, but I very rarely get like players that are like a group of players who can actually face off against a Beholder who are a high enough level. I only have like a solo campaign going on with my partner. They're not ready to fight a Beholder anyway, so I don't have a lot of experience DMing them, but I do have a lot of experience playing against them. I was in a campaign once, had a Beholder. It was fucking lethal. Like, we were not low level. I believe we were like I was playing a level 12 Zealot Barbarian. So against a CR 13 monster, and again in a party full of other CR level 12 characters, this shouldn't have been too hard on paper. But it's those random elements, it's the anti-magic stuff that it can do, it's the fact that there's not very much control over what the DM can like throw at you if they are rolling that stuff.
Yes.
And that is what this DM was doing. They're like, we're going to roll this, and I want you to know that this is going to be a hard encounter. It was fucking brutal.
And you are a Zealot Barbarian.
I was, well, yeah, that is the thing. A Zealot Barbarian, they are tough, they are strong. You're still going to feel a death ray like nobody's business, though. Yeah. And then there's the other thing that so many of like, it's saving throws that throws at you like wisdom, charisma, intelligence, which is just as a barbarian, you're not as great at. I remember that encounter being terrifying, scary, difficult. I was paralyzed, turned to stone, slowed down, and then its eye would sweep back across, and I'd be like, oh my god, I'm up again.
Yeah.
So it was so much fun, but you really do have to have, like, even at level 12, we really struggled. That was a party of 4 level 12 players against a single Beholder, and I was a bit of a new player at that time, and they were all a bit more veteran players, but it was tough. It was really brutal.
It definitely sounds like, from that, that sounds like a brilliant bit of DMing.
It was so much fun.
But it also sounds like it'd be a really good one-shot enemy. You know, when you get people together who love combat, and you go, this is a Colosseum, this is what you're up against, let's see what build you've built this week to just like go to town on this thing and see how it works.
I do feel like the ideal Beholder encounter should be hey guys, here's our 6-hour session that we're going to do today. I hope you're ready to fight one Beholder, because it's going to take that long.
You're getting every sweat you can find to come in with their best build and just like go to town on this thing. Yeah, 100%.
That being said, though, DMing Beholders, they are really smart creatures. Like, they're not like... We were literally joking earlier about the D&D movie from the early 2000s.
Shocking.
And how it gets the Beholder gets used as a guard dog.
It's a guard dog for maybe like 5 frames of the movie.
Which is just wrong.
Yeah.
It's just, I never like to...
They're just regular knights, like 13 AC knights. 11 HP knights probably, just walking around with this thing like it's just a guard dog.
A Beholder should be a BBG, it should be a big villain. As much as I said it doesn't need a lair or an environment to be hiding in, I think it's smart enough to do that, to give itself every advantage.
Yes,
we talked about Mind Flayers and how the alien intelligence of the Mind Flayer should be comparable to what the DM knows about the campaign.
Yeah,
and I would argue that a Beholder, whilst not quite having that level of intelligence, should be up there in terms of like, well, it's smart, it's scheming, but it's also incredibly paranoid. That's the thing that gets mentioned in the lore quite a lot, is that these guys are weirdos, they are freaks, they don't like being near anyone or near anything, and I don't blame them. If a Beholder dreams of another Beholder, it starts existing, and that dreamed Beholder will kill the guy who dreamed it.
It's aware of what it's capable of.
Yeah, if my fucking dreams came to life and ate me, I'd be a pretty paranoid weirdo too. So they are constantly like believing that they're going to be assassinated, planning for every single thing that they can possibly scheme about. They're great. They're wonderful. They should be really smart. If you want to use a Beholder for a lower party, let's say you know that this campaign is going to end at like level 3 that you're working on, and you're like, I really like the aesthetic of the Beholder, I really want them to fight them, but they're never going to get to a point. Use a spectator. Spectators
okay.
are the lower CR version of beholders. I believe actually there's even some lore that says they can be like summoned as like some kind of magical companion by powerful wizards.
Right, okay.
But you can just reflavor it to be like, here's a... I've done that in the past where I was like, these are level 3 characters. I really want to use a beholder because they're cool. They're not going to be able to fight it. What's the closest thing? A spectator. And a spectator has all the same mechanics.
Yeah.
Just everything's scaled down a little bit. And
Which is nice.
And you still get that level of fear. Like, especially if your level 3 party does not know... maybe if they know what beholders are but don't know what spectators are, if you throw something that looks like a beholder but is a reskinned spectator, they'll lose their shit. And a spectator's just CR3 and works by the same mechanics, so it's good fun. You can there's actually some flexibility in that collection of monsters that are beholders.
That you don't have to like sit there and work out for yourself. You can just
you don't
go
have
down
to wait
the line
until you've had like 2 fucking years of a campaign.
Yes,
and be like,
to
we can
understand.
finally fight the beholder. It's like, let's fight a beholder in like session 1.
Yeah.
And we can have fun with the spectator.
So the last question, your favourite question. What's your least favourite enemy in D&D recently?
I'm still not answering it. I still refuse to. I'm going to think about a monster that I really, really have liked using recently because I'm rebellious. I really like trolls.
Okay.
I love a troll. I love that they regenerate. I always love monsters that have comparable intelligence to the players so they can communicate with them. And I love that they do the regeneration thing. There's so many troll stat blocks out there.
Plenty of them.
There's loads.
Plenty of them.
So you can really do a campaign of trolls.
Also, I mean, you could do this with any creature, but trolls and giants as well. I mean, there's a whole book on them. But they seem to just be so versatile in the sense that like they're a bit like elementals. You can just, if you can think of it, you can attach it to it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I mean, you could do that with anything, but they just instantly come to mind.
Give a troll a gun.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
It can grow 5 arms, 5 guns for a troll.
14th century fantasy D&D, give them a sniper rifle. You see who wins that battle. Know what I'm saying?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I love a troll. I don't use them very often just because like I do prefer monsters that have a little bit more intelligence and can have goals and schemes. But I think I just like the regenerating thing. There's very few monsters of that kind of bracket that have something where they can regenerate and grow stuff back. And it means that a troll can be recurring. Like you can chop off a troll's head and then you see them like a week later and they're still doing stuff. You're like, what the fuck?
I like creatures like that, once again, with giants as well, where they're not the reason people are there. They're not like, oh, they've heard about this, they need to go investigate, it's a troll. But I love when, for instance, they do a lot of sieges and big scale battles. Yeah. And when one of those turns up, and that's described when they've already been battling things at their height, things at their kind of like, you know, toe for toe kind of combat, and then it's this thing that's just plowing through the trees, and they go, "Oh shit!"
It's good. It's really
That's
good.
great for just descriptive combat. Like it doesn't matter about the stats. It's just like a flavor to what's going on in the story. Is nice.
At the expense of quoting a meme from the early 2000s, they do have a cave troll.
Yes.
And that's like, hey, that bit in Lord of the Rings fucks every single time that like Boromir's like, it's like, yeah, man, it's cool. That would wig you out. If you're a group of adventurers and you're like, oh, find goblins and orcs, oh no, that's a really big one.
It works.
And it grew its arm back after we chopped it off. Fucking get out of here, man.
Beautiful.
It's great. I love a troll.
Nice. Okay, well, I'm actually starting to like this counter.
I'm just going to keep throwing
It's beautiful.
monsters I love.
Okay, well, today's adventure is sadly come to a close. We're back in next week with the topic, Men are from Mars, Women are from Venus. But where is the uncle that sleeps under my bed originally from? And as always, thank you for tuning in. And if you like joining the D&D action, then please follow us on Instagram at HowToPlayD&D or check out the link in our bio, join our Discord server. Sam, where can we find you now that you are on the internet?
He's your uncle. You can find me at SampayGM on Instagram. I'm posting a load of really cool new fan content and homebrew stuff and video essays on there. All the updates about that will be going up there, so please give me a follow. Please share it with anyone you know who might like to hear me talk like this at you for hours at a time.
Pauses and sentences.
They don't exist.
They will be in the bio, of course. I've been Connor Kinsey.
I've been Sam.
Good day.